Welcome to this Windows and Computer channel, and we're at the beginning of December, and we are going to take a look at the Windows market share, the different versions of Windows. One thing that somebody did talk about the last time I did this, and wanted to talk about, there's two main places on the net where you can actually get data of the market share. So you got Stat Counter, which is here, and you've got net market share, which is another way. They have a different way of taking the numbers, and of course they differ quite a lot. And somebody told me, well, which one is more accurate? I think whatever you use, I think it's somewhere in the middle between both of them. I think that net market share is underestimating a lot. I think here Stat Counter probably overestimates, for example, Windows 10 market share. So it's probably somewhere in the middle. I think this needs to be used as an indication simply. So if we look at Stat Counter global stats, 52.71% of Windows users are in November on Windows 10. This number from Stat Counter is taken with the different websites and apps that are actually measuring the visits of what version of Windows we are at. So 52.71% would be Windows 10. Windows 7 is at 35.53. It still has a good chunk of market at 35%. Reality, that Windows 7 number, it's interesting, is not very far from the Windows 7 number of the net market share. And I think that is probably close to reality where how many people are actually using Windows 7. The big difference is really in the Windows 10 market share, which is very, very different here in this Stat Counter. In net market share, they say that Windows 10 hasn't reached Windows 7 level yet. Here, Stat Counter says we are much higher than Windows 7. Which one is true? I think Windows 10 has probably more users now. The thing is, it might not be 52% necessarily, but we're probably in the 40% range, and we are probably higher than Windows 7. Like I said, somewhere in the middle between both numbers. But the important thing, I think, for Microsoft is that Windows 10 is really increasing at a pretty fast pace in the past few months, and it's good news for Microsoft, and of course good news that Windows 7 is dropping because Windows 7 has a year left. We are in December 2018, so remember, guys, that January 2020, that's barely more than a year from now, is where Windows 7 has its cutoff point. So that number needs to go down if Microsoft wants to be happy. For the other Windows version, Windows 8.1, and I tend to put Windows 8.1 and 8 together. I don't, although 8.1 is the one that still has updates and still is the one that supported together to Windows 8, so it's like 8%, 8.8% of Windows 8. Vista registering barely at 0.59. Windows XP 2.22%, some small portion out there. A lot of machines probably that are dedicated to some specific tasks that are still need to have Windows XP on them. But things are changing, and as we're getting into 2019, this is going to be very interesting to see the last year of Windows 7. How fast of a decline will it have or not? And Windows 10, where it's going to be in there. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.